This report has not been independently verified by Times Network and is based on information sourced from Newsmax.
The problem is they didn't do anything with it. Iran was broke. We could have made a deal so easily.
In a chilling new development, reports suggest that Iran's Islamic regime is actively plotting to assassinate former President Donald Trump by November 5th, Election Day. This revelation comes amid mounting tensions between the United States and Iran, with Tehran allegedly viewing Trump's potential return to the White House as an existential threat to their regime. Newsmax recently broke the story, citing intelligence from U.S. allies in the Middle East, raising concerns about the safety of the former president and the broader implications for U.S. national security. Iran's animosity toward Trump is no secret, stemming from his 2020 decision to order a drone strike that killed Qassem Soleimani, a revered commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC. The killing of Soleimani marked a turning point in the US-Iran relations, with Tehran vowing vengeance and launching a series of retaliatory threats. Now, as Trump remains a powerful figure in American politics, Iranian leaders are allegedly determined to eliminate him before the upcoming presidential election. The stakes for Iran are high. The regime views Trump as a significant obstacle to their geopolitical ambitions, particularly with his repeated pledges to dismantle their nuclear weapons program and reinstate crippling sanctions.
We may be a little weak right now, but if we are united and get experts and the elite involved in the government, there is no problem that we can't eliminate.
Iran is very close to having a nuclear weapon, which would have never happened, Trump declared recently, signaling his intent to resume a hardline stance against the regime. For the Ayatollahs, Trump's return to power could severely undermine Iran's growing regional influence.
The problem is they didn't do anything with it. Iran was broke. We could have made a deal so easily. I would have had a deal done within 1 week after the election with Iran. Iran can't have a nuclear weapon.
Iran's alleged plan to assassinate Trump signals a dangerous escalation in its global ambitions. Intelligence from US allies suggests Tehran is operating under the belief that the United States would not retaliate with serious consequences should their assassination attempt succeed. The Islamic regime's confidence appears bolstered by their expanding influence in the Middle East, as well as the significant funds they have amassed in recent years, funds that were scarce during Trump's tenure due to his strict sanctions, according to the Newsmax report. Compounding the threat, U.S. intelligence and law enforcement agencies have identified increased cyberattacks and surveillance aimed at Trump's campaign. Iranian operatives are reportedly targeting his private plane and rally venues, attempting to exploit security vulnerabilities. Just last month, an alleged assassination attempt on Trump during a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, further underscored the seriousness of these threats. The Secret Service's efforts to safeguard Trump have been ramped up, but the sheer scope of the Iranian plot raises alarming questions about the former president's security as he continues his high-profile campaign. The Biden administration has been criticized for its handling of Iran, with Trump and his supporters arguing that the current government's policies have emboldened the regime. Under President Biden, Iran has significantly increased its oil revenues, according to Trump.
Now Iran has $250 billion. They made it all over the last 2.5 years. They were broke.
Critics argue that the administration's softer approach has allowed Tehran to consolidate power, reinvigorate its nuclear program, and expand its proxy network across the Middle East. For the US and its allies, the stakes are high. Iran's growing nuclear capability poses a direct threat to regional stability, particularly for Israel, which has long been in Tehran's crosshairs. In July, reports surfaced that Iran may already have acquired tactical nuclear weapons, further heightening fears of a looming conflict. Meanwhile, the Biden administration faces pressure to counter Iran's escalating threats and safeguard Trump from an assassination attempt that could dramatically reshape the global political landscape. Tehran's leaders, including Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, have continued to publicly call for Trump's death. Last year, IRGC Commander Amir Ali Hajizadeh stated that they are seeking to, Allah willing, kill Trump and former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. The rhetoric has only intensified as the US election draws closer, with sources suggesting Iran views Trump's assassination as their best chance to maintain their regime's power and avoid the crippling sanctions he would reimpose. Meanwhile, the Justice Department recently announced the arrest of Asif Merchant, a Pakistani national with alleged ties to Iran, on charges of plotting to assassinate Trump and other prominent officials. Attorney General Merrick Garland vowed to thwart Iran's plans, emphasizing the US government's commitment to protecting American officials from Iranian retaliation. However, as the race to Election Day intensifies, the growing danger to Trump remains a critical concern for both his supporters and national security experts.
For years, the Justice Department has been working to aggressively counter Iran's brazen and unrelenting efforts to retaliate against American government officials for the killing of General Soleimani. The Justice Department has brought multiple cases against individuals working on behalf of the Iranian government to lethally target Americans in the United States. But as I said last week, we expect that these threats will continue and that these cases will not be the last. The Justice Department will spare no resource to disrupt and hold accountable those who would carry out Iran's lethal plotting against Americans. Because this is an ongoing criminal matter.
For Trump, the stakes couldn't be higher. His bid for re-election now faces not only the usual political challenges, but also an unprecedented threat to his life. Whether the US government can successfully deter Iran from following through on its plot remains to be seen. But one thing is certain: the regime in Tehran has made Trump's assassination a top priority, and the world is watching closely.